Thank you, Deepak. Good morning. Uh, really nice to meet all of you. While there is a PPT, but the idea is not to kill by PowerPoint. It's just to show some pictures, really. And the idea is to have a conversation among all of us. So everybody is curious about AI these days, right? Or when Amazon keeps recommending what to buy next all the time, etc. Or we have been using Siri for many years now. So all those have been using some form of AI in the past as well. However, what was different was that the AI was being used by the large technology companies in the background, and the consumer was not directly able to interface with this, right? And there have been applications in all kinds of industries. Every single industry has had and continues for educational proof. First of all, let's just look at what AI is. I look at very simplistic definition is the ability of machines, computers especially, to start thinking like intelligent humans, right? So it's really bridging the gap between human beings and machines. Um Today, machines are able to comprehend or understand data and make sense of it, whether it is numeric, which is what earlier was. So we are all used to a lot of Excel files, for example, being processed by machines. Text now you can just type in and it will understand. It understands images, videos, and even code. You input some code and it understands audio, etc. And then it can output all these things. A machine can output a lot of these things, whether it is numbers, equations, or solutions to equations, formatted text, images, audio, video, etc. And we'll see some examples of that. I just quickly skip over this. So all that is there. What has changed with OpenAI ChatGPT is that they have launched something called generative AI, which is built on a technology which is less than 7 years old. The first paper was written in 2017 by some Google engineers of Indian origin, which was called Transformers. It was the whole theory of transformers on which generative AI is built. And this has made AI accessible to all of us. So anybody can now go on a chat box or any of the other image creators, etc., and access AI and create some things for themselves. So which has led to, you can use what is called prompt engineering now, which is really in simple language, you type in a command and it throws up something. These AI, therefore, solutions can create what are called autopilots that, for example, your call centers can automatically be run by AI, or it can be a co-pilot and assistant to do various kinds of things, which I will show. And these AI solutions can analyze, predict, they can create, generate, automate, help us brainstorm. A lot of times, because it's endless, right? You try to brainstorm amongst this group of people here. After some time, we'll all get tired. AI never gets tired, right? So it continues to generate new ideas all the time. It helps us amplify lots of things. One AI bot can call 1 million people simultaneously if required. And therefore, what I call, it can unblank. When you're starting from a blank sheet of paper and you don't know what to do, you just ask AI saying, give me a plan. It'll give you something, and then it starts an iterative process, for example. So this was the big disruptive moment when ChatGPT launched. OpenAI launched something called ChatGPT, and this is what it looked like. And the development in AI is happening really fast. So look at the last line. It's almost like a straight rocket going up. The pace of development in AI has far exceeded any other forms of sub-segments of AI which have been developing over the years. So this is what ChatGPT or any of these chatbots do, and I'm sure all of us have tried our hands at it, that you put in a command, it gives you a definition, you can ask it to write the same thing as a poem, it can translate into many languages, including Indian languages, it can give the output in a tabular form, formatted for us, it can write a script for an ad film or even a movie, it can write code, and therefore we don't have to write code. In fact, this is becoming such a big part of AI development that Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, is now going to all forums and saying the future of coding is going to be in English language. So you don't need to learn coding language at all. and which is also going to be a problem because so many students are learning computer science where they're essentially learning coding. So what happens to all of them? Because anybody can code. But it also tells you, AI will tell you what to do with that code it has generated, how to use it, where to plug it in and create. So basis all this is with just simple English language, you can create a website, you can create an app, and you can launch it. These are the big players, and there are more players coming in all the time. It all started with OpenAI in partnership with Microsoft, and they've launched ChatGPT. Bing, which is the search engine from Microsoft, has deeply integrated the ChatGPT model, but they have done improvements on that. Google and Apple are working together. So AI models will be embedded within the Apple phones, and it will run the Google AI models, which is essentially Gemini. But Google has, interestingly, an open source model called Gemma. Amazon, so there is another company which is making waves, which is Anthropic, which is being funded by Amazon. And Amazon has already put $1.2 billion and continues to support them. So the fight is really between these three giants, Microsoft, Google, Apple, these four, and Amazon, because it takes a lot of money to really build an AI model. But these are all closed systems, as in these are systems where you don't know what's happening, where they have access data, how they are processing the data, and what's happening with all the inputs that we are providing. So completely closed systems. And they're very large. So they run off a cloud. You can't run it locally on your server or on your laptop. On the other hand, Meta, there is a company called Mixtral. There are others who are launching what are called open source models. These are relatively small models you can download on your machine, create a application around it, and run it off your laptop. So you don't need to use cloud. Therefore, there is more data privacy and so on. And then there's something called Grok from X, which was earlier Twitter, which started as a closed system, but they are making it open source. So they have made part of it open source. However, when they say open source, they're not truly open source. Some of you, you guys who are in tech, you will understand the difference. So none of these systems are truly open source. Only part of it is open source. Their data is not open source. Apart from text, there are these tools like DALL-E 2, Midjourney, Stability, which have the capability to generate images. So you can create completely lifelike images. These are all artificially generated, 100% lifelike, right? There could be images from our event today. So that's how real they have become, and they're evolving really fast. So on the images, and let's zoom in around, these images I created. I have no design sense. I have no background and design, but I just use simple prompts to create these images, right? And therefore, you can imagine the amount of help these tools, AI tools, can give to your designers, who can generate so many more designs in a day than what they're able to with the current tools. But not just create images, it can understand and decipher images. So you put in a complicated picture like this on, for example, I put it on Google Gemini, and it gives a detailed output on what that picture shows, right? Now, while this I'm doing consciously, but imagine this being done subconsciously in the background for a large system, which is constantly reading these images and making sense out of that. AI can generate audio, and that audio can be, so for example, a lot of celebrities are now recording their voices, and they can be used for perpetuity long after they're gone, right? The voice of Darth Vader, who can forget? We all know the voice of Darth Vader. You wanted to live it on, and therefore that's being done by a company. And audio has capabilities like this.
Hey, James.
Yeah, who's this?
Hey, James. It's Alexander from Tesla Motors. How's your day going so far?
It's going pretty good, my man. How about yourself? You said from Tesla, right? It's the car company?
Yeah, that's right. I'm calling from Tesla Motors, the car company. Did you have any trouble or questions while customizing your...
That was an AI bot talking to a real human being, right? And these are things we can start imagining in our call centers, for example, to service our customers and clients. It can create where there is an AI tool called Pictory. It pulls images and clips from the internet and creates a video for us. So we can write a script on ChatGPT, like I showed earlier, put it into the system, and it will create the entire video with the soundtrack. You can put in voiceover, etc., and an audio visual is ready for us in less than 30 minutes with very little minimal input from a human being. Then there is the next level video. Second,
AI is presenting a vast range of opportunities to improve our lives. The future would be significantly better with artificial intelligence. However, AI has to be used responsibly so as not to cause harm to the society.
So, you could create avatars with real people or people who have been previously recorded. For example, it can be any of you. You want to talk to your employees, your field staff, etc. Send them daily interviews or daily messages in their language. So you can do it, and you can start speaking Hindi, Bengali, Tamil, all Indian languages. It'll lip sync and make it extremely natural. In fact, of late, some of you may have seen the Prime Minister has been talking about using language translations. He used for a big event. He spoke in Hindi and it was translated into Tamil real time and delivered to the audience, etc. And then that's the latest development which is happening. Still early stages. Where AI generates complete video. So OpenAI is launching something called Sora, which will have ability to generate a complete video. You just need to put in some prompts and it creates these videos. No, this is completely created with AI. And human beings are real human beings, right? It looks like real human beings. So there are many tools now, many sites which are available to generate videos. This agent especially is really very good in being able to create these sales training videos, like I showed you in various languages, which can create your avatars, human-like avatars, instantly. And video also, like I showed in images, has the ability to read video images, right? So AI has the ability to read video images, for example, and sort things like this, or be able to, understand from a public place what kind of bags people are carrying, and so on. Can generate audio. That was highly enjoyable and will keep getting better all the time. You can use AI to create a full PowerPoint. It's just to show it does beautiful designs. All the text, everything is generated with that AI tool. And you can then edit it yourself, add in content, remove content, etc. And you have a perfect PowerPoint presentation in just a few minutes, which would otherwise take you long hours to create. So like I talked about what the government is doing in translating languages. So there is a government project called Bhashini, which is working on translating all Indian languages into each other. And this project is very, very useful for a country like ours where we have so many languages. It cuts out divide between people. You can talk to each other so openly or freely just using your mobile devices. And they have tied up with Microsoft to create this whole program called Jugalbandi, which is trying to take it to market. AI tools can also work with financial data, for example. So there is something called FinChat, which gives you all the stock related information. There's rows where you put in your data and it can start making sense of it and give you various outputs. So personal data analysts work and so on. Then AI. So this is all AI was in software, right? You're using it in the soft form, but then the same thing is getting inputted into machines, and therefore you're getting things like autonomous vehicles. You're getting robots, which are becoming autonomous. So I'm sure all of you in your factories have some kind of robots, but these are robotic elements, arms, etc., which have a well-defined fixed movement. But now with the AI getting added, you can have flexibility for these robots to move around freely, recognize things, etc. They're also going into aerial vehicles like drones.
Number one, what do you see right now?
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
Great. Can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Great. So this is almost like an infant, right? But this has true capability like a human being, where it is able to understand the environment, understand the questions being asked, and then act accordingly. So it can lift a hard steel-made thing, or it can lift a fruit which is soft, and therefore it has to be handled delicately. So that's the advancement which is happening. Now everybody keeps saying AI will replace people, etc., etc. I'm sure everybody is hearing this statement as well, that AI will not replace humans, but it will replace the persons who using AI will replace you, right? And in every field of AI, like I'd initially shown, text to text, text to video, video to text, etc., etc. There are lots of companies working. Every day there are new launches happening, new companies coming out, building a new tool, etc. And therefore there is so much to explore. And that's what I keep telling people, that you can explore and experiment with AI tools now easily, because it's available as simple applications or websites, and you can do it for free or almost free. At best, they'll charge you $10 a month, $20 a month, which is hardly anything. Now people are talking about the 3-person unicorn, right? A company, $1 billion valuation company, which has only 3 people. The founder, who is aggressive visionary, the numbers person, and words person. I actually heard an interview of one man. He had sold out his previous startup, and he is already working on a company where he's saying, single man, and he will generate business of $100 million. He's already hitting $1.3 million a month revenue, and one man is running the company, right? Because you can use the various AI systems in your job. So what can we do, for example, in our home improvement industry? AI tools can be used for design and development, for predictive analytics in the supply chain, data analytics for decision making, customer interface, like I showed, so whether it's sales calls, outbound, inbound, after sales, etc. Quality control via computer vision. So for example, fit and finish is an extremely important thing, which AI-based cameras can do far better than human eyes, right? Contracts and legal, for example, most companies will have hundreds, thousands of contracts. How do you keep track of all of them and see? So there are, you can feed in all your contracts into an AI tool and analyze them easily. Financial analysis, like I showed you, project management, for example, and training and education with those videos. How should we look at this, and how can we start? Identify areas which can be automated, which you believe can be automated. Because what AI can do is automate white-collar jobs, not just blue-collar jobs. So blue-collar jobs were automated with machines, but white-collar jobs of accountants, marketing people, how call center employees, etc. We can start thinking of how to automate via AI. So identify those areas. We can look at inviting startups. So many of them are working in this and developers through an innovation program, evaluate and shortlist the ones who can be most relevant to us, make we work close to them. So one of the things which I find working with lots of these AI companies is that they understand technology, but they don't understand industry. We understand industry, we understand our applications, but we don't know technology, right? So that's the gap which has to be bridged. Because despite all the hype in the last 1.5 years, very few actual enterprise applications of AI, generative AI have happened. And that's because of this gap. So if we start taking the lead in, experimenting with some of these, and like I said, experimentation can be done at a very low cost, then we can take the lead in developing applications which can give us a competitive advantage in the market. And therefore identify some internal champions as well, who are more tuned to working with these AI companies and creating solutions for us, deploy pilots initially, learn and correct, and then develop long-term projects. So there are also issues, a lot of issues which you will constantly keep hearing about. The fact that AI has bias many times. It has a Western bias for sure, because most models are developed in the US, so they have a Western bias. So how do you correct for that? And you can end up overcorrecting. Recently, Google, for example, launched Gemini, and they had overcorrected so much that their model was generating even white people as non-white people, right? Historically, people who were white, it was showing them as dark-skinned people. There can be hallucinations. It can start attributing books to you which you have never written. There is concern of data privacy because they're closed system. So what will happen? There is the copyrights issue because these models are trained on data, who's owned that data, etc. So those are things people keep talking about. It can be used to generate fake news. This is a big, big worry, especially the governments have, and it can be used for cybercrime. These are all genuine concerns. But parallelly, lots of things are happening. So there is a system called guardrails, which are now being built into the models, which will prevent it from getting biases and hallucination. Government policy and oversight is coming in very fast in this field. So European Union has already passed some regulations. Indian government announced that at least the models from big companies have to be approved by them before they can be released. Open source models means you can have data privacy because it will run only on your system, so the data doesn't go out. People are talking about digital watermarking for AI created content, images, videos, audio, etc. There is something called fine tuning while training. So to take care of hallucination and so on, you can fine tune on your specific data, keep it within your servers or the confines of your company. And then there is something called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, which helps cross-check the first output which the AI system is giving to make it more accurate with real-time data. And therefore, now you not only get a paragraph or an essay from the AI system, but it gives you links to relevant sites, which you can cross-check. So this is my favorite statement these days. AI is all you need to start running your corporation and make it a 3-man unicorn. So that's what I had to say, and happy to have a conversation around it.